God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace, blessed be God, blessed be God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace.
Blessed be the Creator of all the earth. God has come to live among us. Among the poor, the poorest of the poor, God has made a home.
Blessed be God, blessed be God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace.
According to the promise made long ago, God has brought us freedom. Sound the trumpet of a new day. No fear, no violence, and no enemies.
Blessed be God, blessed be God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace.
God has remembered the holy promise, the promise to Abraham and to Sarah, that all people of this world would live free, together like the stars of the sky, in radiant harmony.
Blessed be God, blessed be God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace.
God would lead us to the knowledge of peace by the forgiveness of our own sins. Because of the tender mercy of our God, the sun will shine upon us in our darkness to guide our feet into the ways of peace.
Blessed be God, blessed be God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace.
We will be called the prophets of the Most High, who speak the truth and power, like voices in the wilderness, crying out for the poor, crying out for justice.
Blessed be God, blessed be God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace. Blessed be God, blessed be God, blessed be God who sets us free. O Father of mercy, O Mother of peace. Tonight we're going to take a little look at the Enneagram type number 3. Just a brief review and reminder. We're looking at ourselves, which is always a challenging task. To look at ourselves and understand ourselves, and to have fun and play with our own nature, and in the process grow, deepen, whatever word you want to use, even transform. So it's that kind of looking. So just a brief review. Enneagram type number 1. What do you remember about that?
We're perfectionists.
Perfectionists. Okay, yeah.
Leaders.
Leaders.
They want to be seen as good, trustworthy, and righteous.
Right, exactly. Right. Good, trustworthy, righteous, and secretly perfect. But they won't admit it. Right. Anything else about a number 1? What does a number 1 need to do in order to move toward greater health, emotionally and psychologically? What do they need to do?
Get rid of anger, or just transform anger.
Yes, anger is the root of a lot of 1s. How do they do that? Is the question. How do they transform their anger? What do they need to let go of specifically? Anger is the volcano, but there's stuff that they can do to.
Is it pride?
No, that would be the number 2.
Oh.
Number 2 is the pride. But in order to move as a number 1, they need to come to terms with the fact, the reality, that they're not good. Okay? Not in the sense that they think, they're not perfect. They're wrong lots of the times. They're not always right. And that's very humbling for 1. It's very transformative for 1. It's really interesting because in each of the Enneagram types, each one must look at what their compulsion is, compulsion to be good, compulsion to be right, and discover beneath that a deeper goodness, a deeper rightness. The compulsion to be good is not really good, right? It's something else. But when a 1 looks at what goodness actually is in themselves and others, then they can relax, because their intention is good, right? Their intention is right. It's just that they've got a kind of understanding of what good is. You ever heard somebody say, it's not always right to be right. It's not always good to be good. Sometimes it's wrong to be right. Okay. Like if you're in a conversation and somebody's just insisting, and this is the way it is, should. They might be right, but that's not right. To be in a conversation with other human beings and insist in whatever way. So, okay, so that's a 1. What about a 2? What do you remember about a 2? What are they called? The 1 is called the reformer. What's 2 called? Helper. Right. And to be a reformer, to be a helper is good. What can you say about 2?
Emotionally manipulative.
Bingo. Yes. Emotionally. How do they do it?
They make you dependent on them. And when you don't meet their expectations, giving back what they need, they twist your words and your flaws and your neediness into a weapon.
Yep. They basically weaponize help. And it's great to be helpful and say, oh, I need some help. How can I help? But when that becomes insistent, like who's the character in that scary movie Misery? Is it? Yeah. that's where it becomes a problem. Right? Now, we don't need to go to those lengths necessarily, but when it becomes insistent, almost to the level of attack and violence, that's when you know you've got an unhealthy two. What does a two need to do in order to move to health?
Discover their own needs.
Yes. Focus on, okay, I'm going to not worry about what other people need for a moment. I'm just going to think about what I need. And very often, at least in my experience, when I've had conversations with people who are in relationships, romantic relationships, that's one of the first things a person needs to do. Focus on what I need, not so much what my partner needs. Oh, my partner needs this and this. But when they're able to say, you know what, I think I need to do this, or I need to be this way, that's the move to health. How do they do that?
Are they known to be the self-sacrificial lamb of the Enneagram?
They're definitely self-sacrificial. Right. So letting go of their need to sacrifice themselves and to think about nurturing themselves. Right?
Letting go of their pride that they're so helpful.
Letting go of the pride. I've done so much for you. It's a typical unhealthy. Why don't you love me? Why don't you do this for me? That's not healthy. So to let go of that pride takes time. Okay, so now we're ready, I think, to move into the land of threes. And we're going to see it first tonight through films. If we want to talk about it, we can do that. So I think we're ready.
Types, each focusing on how we deal with trauma and stress. And while it's mostly simple, there are some things about the Enneagram that
That's
maybe
really,
more-
really important, isn't it? To recognize no matter what type we are or others are, it's basically our way of dealing with trauma and stress. And that's where we can become more compassionate. Right? Not too long ago, there was somebody dealing with something and they were into their dis-ease, their unhealth, and a good friend of mine said, they're going through grief. That's what they're doing. It's a kind of traumatic, stressful experience they're going through because of their grief. And to recognize that enables us to become more compassionate.
with this video. So I recommend watching my video where I give a basic understanding of how it all works. Because today, I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at how characters in film portray personality type 3, the achiever. Threes have a reputation of being opportunistic, hardworking individuals, fully dedicated to the pursuit of success, achievement, and admiration, all in an effort to be seen and respected by others. And it's a reputation that most threes don't mind having. What better image to be known for than someone who is hardworking, charming, attractive, and committed to setting goals and achieving the impossible? However, it is an image nonetheless, an image that can ironically hold them back from ever reaching their true potential. All three personalities within the Heart Center share a sadness for abandoning themselves to create an image that would give them the love and approval they feel they didn't receive in their childhoods, which is why the Heart Center is sometimes called the Image Center. While twos are in conflict with their sadness as they strive for a likable and pleasing image, and fours overexpress their sadness as they present themselves as unique and special, threes are out of touch with their sadness as they create an image of success and achievement. Type 3s can seem fearless, confident, and sometimes even emotionless in the face of daunting challenges, but at their core, they are motivated by a serious fear of failure.
I hate losing, John. I hate losing more than I even want to win.
For threes, failure and humiliation can be deeply painful experiences, as it affirms the message they internalize from their childhoods that they aren't enough as they are, and unconsciously believe that they have to become something more in order to earn the right of existence.
Because I want to be great.
And you're not.
I want to be one of the greats.
Because of this, threes are often competitive, charismatic, and naturally focused on achieving success, cementing themselves as inspirational icons worthy of applause and praise. However, in accordance with the theory of the Enneagram, their greatest strength is also their greatest weakness. They can over-identify with their image and what they do to the point that they lose sight of who they really are, which is when they engage in their emotional passion, self-deceit.
I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. What?
Each type on the Enneagram has an emotional passion, a vice that they engage in that serves as an unconscious driver that's motivated by a sense of lack, which creates a basic dilemma, trap around.
So if you notice, each type has their, he calls it a passion. I would call it a compulsion. I actually like the word passion. As a musician, passion is necessary, right? Mm-hmm. So I choose to use the word compulsion. In each case, the number one, to the right, there's anger, compulsively angry, underneath, seething. Number two, the compulsion is pride. I've done so much for you, you should. And the compulsion of the three is deceit, but a particular form of deceit. It's self-deceit. It can flow over into presenting an image, of course, that you want others to believe. But fundamentally, the three is fooling themselves. That's the underlying thing. And of course, the number four that I'm too familiar with is envy. I don't call it a passion, I call it a compulsion. When I have fallen into envy, it is like a dragon that's consuming. That's not a passion. That's monstrous compulsion. And so on and so forth. Avarice, investigator, fear. 6 is, of course, known as the most fearful. Gluttony, enthusiast, but it's not necessarily a gluttony for food. It's a gluttony for experience, or any kind of pleasure, really. Here, there, and everywhere. As the song is. And again, the number 8, sometimes called the bull or the challenger. Lust, not just in the terms of sexuality and sexual lust, but lust for life, which sounds great, except when it consumes you, and the power of that compulsion can destroy you and others. Then you have to dominate. That's terrible. And then, of course, the peacemaker, sloth, which is another, it's not what we think of laziness so much as a kind of giving up. So, yeah.
What's the main difference between lust and gluttony?
Right. So, in this sense, I believe that lust is coming from a person who needs to dominate. Right? Okay. The 7 doesn't need to dominate. They're just wanting pleasure. Right? And if they were told, oh, you can't do that, okay, fine, I'll go somewhere else. But if you tell an 8 that, oh yeah, come again, kind of thing. They're ready to fight, right? It's that difference. Yeah, but they're similar. They overlap, of course. But the real difference, I think, comes in terms of the personality type. One is happy to let go and find pleasure elsewhere. The other one, the challenger, number 8, will not let go, but will smash every china in the china shop to get what they want. Doc, any other question?
In the case of type 3, it's self-deceit. Not deceit in the form of ill-intentioned lying, but deceit in the form of unconsciously presenting themselves as someone they're not without knowing who they really are, hoping that becoming what others value and admire will bring them the love and approval they want.
I just want to live in you. Not in every fucking trying to be something else, something I'm not.
This constant over-identification with what they do and the image they present can cause them to move towards either 9 or 6. The move to 9 can symbolize an exhaustion 3s feel when they push themselves too far, leading them to either take a step back and relax, or fall asleep to life entirely and become disengaged.
You guys got sent to the office again. No, Bob.
The move to 6, on the other hand, can symbolize getting in touch with and accepting their fears, recognizing their need for support and cooperation with others, and questioning who they really are.
I think I have this thing where I need everybody to think I'm the greatest, and if they aren't completely knocked out and dazzled and kind of intimidated by me, then I don't feel good about myself.
The way in which 3s pursue success differs among the 3 instinctual subtypes, but they all express a need to become more than who they already are. Self-preservation 3s pursue success in the form of material security and being good at what they do.
I get to touch people's lives with what I do, and it keeps me going, and I love it.
Social 3s pursue success in the form of being admired and recognized by others.
Yes, it's really me, it's Maui, bring it in.
And 1-to-1 3s pursue success through attracting others and succeeding through them.
I wish to stay on Earth with her. I finally know where I belong.
There is, and most likely never will be, a shortage of movies centered around Type 3 characters.
Kind of a big deal.
For the Type 2 video, the challenge was finding enough Type 2 characters to talk about for over 15 minutes. For Type 3, the challenge is swimming through the massive ocean of Type 3 movies and deciding which characters to talk about for under 20 minutes. And, as you can tell by the length of the...
He doesn't succeed. Why is 3 such a big one in our life? The drive to succeed, to achieve. Isn't it written in the Constitution? Isn't that what the United States is as a country? Different countries are typed as personalities. The United States is very often typed as a 3. Be all you can. Join the Marines. Even Obama's phrase was, "Yes, we can." And so on and so on it goes. There seems to be, like in the psychology of this country, at least in some cultures in this country, an embedded kind of 3-ness to achieve. And isn't that the famous, what's that terrible line that says, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps? You've heard that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, but that's 3, and it's unhealthy, and that's the United States, and it's dis-ease. That's why we cut social programs.
The worship of rich people or powerful people,
Yeah.
movie stars, and
Basically, I mean, we're obsessed with it. Hollywood.
sports.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Whoa.
Still failed. The amount of movies centered around Type 3 characters is staggering, and this is because their themes of hard work and achieving one's dreams against all odds are ones that can inspire anybody. It's a theme that has been tackled by so many movies from so many angles, ranging from cynical to inspirational, but they're all centered around Type 3 characters and their relationships with success. But with there being so many Type 3 characters to talk about, let's dive in, starting with unhealthy 3s.
I love being the center of attention because it's really where I should be.
Unhealthy Type 3 characters over-identify with their image and achievement to such an extreme that they become hollow shells of who they once were, projecting nothing more than the image of someone who has achieved all the symbols of success, but in reality are completely devoid of any true sense of self. They are relentless, belittling, and narcissistic.
What do you say you and me take a walk over to the tavern and take a look at my trophies?
But as with all unhealthy characters, no matter their personality type, their fear is so great that they will cross any moral lines needed to ensure their fear never becomes a reality. Their fear being that of failure and amounting to nothing.
The board
Yeah, I was going to ask that question. He just answered it. So what is the fear of the 3? Failure. But inner failure, mostly. I mean, outward failure for sure, but inner failure, definitely. And a 3 needs to learn what the true meaning of success is, right? Starting with inner success, inner flourishing, right? And to follow that path, regardless of where it leads on the outside. Right? Okay.
In 30 days. But you can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
though they are commonly found in roles as the self-centered douchey antagonist, unhealthy Type 3s make for some of the most interesting characters ever put to film, since they're commonly used to criticize materialism and work culture.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers Van Patten's card to mine.
A movie that does a great job showcasing the values of Type 3 to an unhealthy and overindulgent degree would be The Wolf of Wall Street.
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time.
Following Jordan Belfort's criminal career of defrauding investors through his brokerage firm, The Wolf of Wall Street not only captures the pursuit and attainment of excessive wealth and success, but also the mentality that drives people to do anything just to have a taste of it. Some believe that Jordan Belfort is a 7, but there's no doubt in my mind he's a social 3. I might do a video in the future that will compare some of the differences between Type 3 and 7 through the use of analyzing Tony Stark. Leave a comment if you're interested in seeing that, but to use Belfort as a quick example, though he is uninhibited and hedonistic in the same way unhealthy self-preservation 7s are, he's far more concerned with being the center of attention and showing off his achievements.
At least as a rich man, when I have to face my problems, I show up in the back of a limo wearing a $2,000 suit and a $40,000 gold fucking watch.
Later in the film, when given the chance to escape the FBI chasing him, future time in prison, and tons of fines, all by leaving his firm, Jordan instead decides to go down with the ship to further cement his image of power and success.
I'm not fucking leaving!
A 7, on the other hand, would much more likely step down and let someone else deal with all the hassle and move on to something more fun.
It's boring. Boring. I'm giving you a boring word. You do it.
I do what?
Excellent idea. I just figured this out. You run the company.
But while Jordan is the textbook example of the social 3, has electrifying confidence in leading others, proudly displays his status, and has a strong ability to sell himself, there is a theme in this movie that I think captures the internalized belief of Type 3.
Sell me that pen. Watch. Go on.
Could you do me a favor? Write your name down on a napkin for me.
I don't have a pen.
Exactly. Supply and demand, my friend.
In the same way he sells the pen, Jordan Belfort sells a message, and it's similar to, if not the same message that motivates Type 3s. Just as he asked him to write his name down but couldn't, you are nothing as you are. But through buying this pen, through becoming a success, you will finally be somebody noteworthy, able to write your name for all the world to see.
Does your girlfriend think you're a fucking worthless loser? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. I want you to deal with your problems.
The real reason podcasters, publishers, and event organizers say no.
So it seems that under every personality type, there is this fear and desire, but mostly fear. And it goes something like this, that I'm not who I am. I'm afraid I'm not what I am, which sounds strange. But it results in a desire to be someone other than who we are. Right? A desire to be something other than what we are, and we don't accept what we are, who we are. Okay? And that acceptance, I think, is common, the need for acceptance among all the types. They express it differently, right? But underneath every personality type, there seems to be this deep, legitimate need to cut through the BS that we tell ourselves about ourselves, and to be able to say, this is what I am, this is who I am, and just come to terms with that, you know? Rather than try to pretend, like the 1 tries to pretend to be good, right? The 2 tries to pretend to be so helpful. It's a pretension. The 3 tries to pretend to be successful. And all of that keeps them, and of course the 4s try to pretend to be so special, that it keeps them from really, you know, looking in the mirror, basically, seeing who they really are, and saying, that's good enough, that's okay, I like me. It sounds so simple, but it's not, and so easy, but it's not. And I'm convinced we all spend lifetimes, maybe more than one, pursuing that. You know, if our Buddhist friends are right and there's reincarnation, maybe we spend many lifetimes moving toward health. I don't know. Does that make any sense? It's this guy.
Commercial.
Even ones with great credentials.
By becoming rich!
And it's this message, this belief, that drives threes to push beyond where most fail. But it's also the message that can bring them the most destruction. You see Jordan on his first day working on Wall Street, and he's a decent, impressionable young guy who shows up to work riding the bus with his wife. By the third act, he's got his own firm, a trophy wife, a mansion, a Ferrari, a helicopter, a yacht, kitchen staff, and helicopter pad on said yacht. It's beyond excessive, but that's the point. No amount of success and status will ever be enough for him because at his core, he isn't enough as he is. And eventually, it tears apart his marriage, his friendships, and ironically, even his career. But not for long, since we all want a slice of that life too.
Sell me this pen.
This pen works, and I personally love it.
Most Type 3 characters operate from the message that drives Jordan Belfort, that you aren't enough as you are and you must become a success in order to have value as a human being. But it's the unhealthy Type 3 characters that take it to a toxic level. Nightcrawler, Whiplash, Citizen Kane, all great movies that follow unhealthy Type 3s willing to go through extreme and at times inhumane lengths to achieve success and praise, but ultimately go on to live lonely and empty lives. The self-deceit at this level has become so unconscious and embedded in their psyche that the problem isn't that they can't separate who they are from their image, it's that they've become their image. This is the case with Patrick Bateman in American Psycho.
There is an idea of a Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me.
While the movie is mainly a satirical take on corporate America, it can also serve as a satirical look at the unhealthy three.
I want to fit in.
Everything he does revolves around preserving and projecting his image, no matter how inauthentic it is.
Another martini, Paul.
The irony of investing so much in an image to be seen and accepted by society is that you're never seen for who you really are. And in Patrick's case, he's actually a serial killer.
Hey, Paul!
And as the movie goes on, his killings become more and more obvious, to the point that you start to wonder maybe he does all of this as a secret plea to be seen for who he really is. But even after going on a very public killing spree and confessing his crimes, he's still never actually seen for who he is.
I killed him.
Who's got the point?
I'm Patrick Bateman.
So again, although the threes develop it, as Richard Rohr would say, into an art form, every single type has this longing to be seen for who they really are. I'm convinced. Every single type. Threes just take it to great heights because they're the performers, the achievers. They do it the most. You know? But every single person, I'm convinced, has this deep longing desire to be seen for who they really are. That's a given. Even if I'm a serial killer, you should.
She recognized me. Excuse me. I really must be going now.
This only further cements the common theme I've noticed with unhealthy characters. In their desperation to deny their fears from becoming reality, they ironically doom themselves to it through the destructive means they take. For Type 1s, it was the fear of disorder, 2s, the fear of being unloved, and for 3s, it's the fear of failure. Not being seen as enough.
I think I might be none, buddy.
Wow. The insecurity level with you guys is ridiculous.
The difference between unhealthy Type 3 characters and average Type 3 characters is the willingness to make the move to 6 and question who they are beyond their successful image, just like in Jerry Maguire.
Who would I become? Just another shark in a suit?
Jerry takes a huge risk in questioning who he is.
So when it says about make the move to a 6, that can be a little difficult to understand unless you understand all the different types of behavior. But fundamentally what we're talking about is there are certain other personality types that when we, whatever type we are, move toward in terms of their qualities, we can, for lack of a better word, absorb, integrate, maybe that's a better word, their strengths, which is kind of cool. I don't know if Myers-Briggs does that sort of thing. But in the Enneagram, you can and are encouraged to, and invariably you end up doing it whether you like it or not, move toward another personality type to incorporate, there's a good word, their strengths. So in this case, a 3 moves toward a 6 to overcome their fears, because fears is a big one. It's 6, but a healthy 6 is overcoming their fears. So a 3 who needs to overcome their fears, not being enough, moves toward a healthy 6 kind of inner reality. It's not so much that you move toward a person outside of you, but you move toward within that quality that we all have of each type of the Enneagram, which is like our many selves kind of thinking, yeah, which is really interesting. So in my case, as I believe I was a 4, I moved toward a 1, because 4 is basically caught up in their emotions. So when I move toward a 1, I absorb or incorporate, integrate qualities of structure, of order, which helps me to channel my emotions as a 4. And that becomes helpful. And to be aware of that, I can say, yeah, I need to move toward this because this is basically what I am. So does that make any sense?
Does it, and it all goes horribly wrong.
Came here to fire you,
By the end of the first act, he's this discouraged and destroyed man who has to start all over with nothing. But that's what the movie's about. Discovering who you really are and standing up for it, even at the risk of material, social, and relational failure. The real failure would be spending your whole life as somebody else, always living in the eyes of others, trying to earn their love through achievements that mean nothing. After being disconnected from himself for so long, Jerry goes through the process of becoming a genuine person and puts in the work to get in touch with his emotions, something that's especially important for 3s since they're the type that's out of touch with their feelings in the heart center.
Do you love her?
How do I know?
How you know when you know.
His one and only client pushes him throughout the film to pick himself up and work harder. Meanwhile, his love interest encourages him to stay true to himself even if it hurts her. And between these two forces in his life, Jerry breaks through and not only achieves success in his career, but success in becoming a genuine person with self-worth that's tied to genuine love.
You complete me.
This is the growth journey of Type 3s. The dissolution of self-deceit and the discovery of who they really are and where their self-worth truly lies.
I wanted to be more than I was.
I never wanted anything but the man I fell in love with.
A common genre to find Type 3 characters who go through this arc would be animation. From Mr. Incredible to Fantastic Mr. Fox, many of them involve the move to 6, where the characters come face to face with their fears and insecurities, question their identity, accept support from others, and discover who they really are. A great example of a 3 making the move to 6 would be Buzz Lightyear in the first Toy Story movie.
I'm Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger, Universe Protection Unit.
In the beginning of the movie, Buzz is deep in his self-deception and genuinely believes he is a space ranger on a mission to save the galaxy, which Woody, being a Type 6, never fails to challenge.
You actually think you're the Buzz Lightyear? You're mocking me, aren't you? Oh, no. The Buzz-looking alien! Where?
As the movie goes on, the two butt heads, until eventually Buzz discovers he isn't a space ranger tasked with saving the galaxy, but just a toy, which of course sends him spiraling down into an identity crisis.
Oh, I understand! Look at I can't fly out of.
What would you tell someone who knows exactly what to do but can't make themselves do it? That gap has a name.
Window.
After having based his entire self-worth on his role, Buzz now believes he's truly worthless.
You were right all along. I'm not a space ranger. Just a toy, a stupid, little, insignificant toy.
But even though he isn't who he thought he was, who he is already enough.
Look, over in that house is a kid who thinks you are the greatest, and it's not because you're a space ranger, pal. It's because you're a toy. You are his toy.
And through discovering not just who he truly is, but where he should really place his self-worth, Buzz becomes a remarkably healthy 3 for the rest of the series, always there to motivate the gang towards success and encourage others to stay true to themselves, all while staying true to himself.
There it is. We stop it there. So for 3, success is what?
Staying true to yourself.
Exactly. Staying true to yourself. That's enough. It's more than enough, right? And that's where 3 can be not only successful, but also helpful to encourage others to stay true to themselves. So let's just stop it there for a moment. Any questions about 3s, because it's getting late? Any questions? Comments? What's the strength of the 3?
bravado.
Yeah.
It's charisma to,
Mhm.
I guess, motivate, empower a group, and to be able to it's motivation, optimism for any group, any country that they face. They bring that energy to bring people together
Mhm.
at the cost of their false self.
Mhm. Okay. At the deepest level, what's the strength of the three? How would you describe it? The deepest level. You just described what most people would say, and they're right, that is the strength of the three. But at the deepest possible level, it's not really bravado or charisma.
An acceptance of self.
It's a discovery of their true self, which is already successful, right? And then the three, discovering their true self, can let go of needing to be charismatic, bravado, and so on, and inspire others to be their true selves as they discover who they are, but without the glimmer, is that a word, glitter? I used to have a friend who, whenever she appeared, she would sprinkle glitter all over people, and it was really annoying, glitter. But it's going down to the depths, the deeper core, and discovering who you are as a tree, and saying, yeah, that is me. I can be myself. I don't have to impress people. I don't have to perform for people. As much fun as that can be, I can just be myself. And that inspires other people, guess what? To be themselves. Right? There's a great saying, I think it was from one of the early Christians, like in the 3rd century, Irenaeus. It said, the glory of God is a human being fulfilled. Right? Basically, a human being themselves is the glory of God.
Yeah.
And to see that is inspiring. It's encouraging. It's motivating. It's empowering. And it's fun. Any other thoughts?
I think three, for a good quote for three is, to unlearn is the biggest challenge. Unlearning
Mm-hmm.
is the biggest challenge, biggest teacher.
What does a three need to unlearn?
All the false mask and it's like people pleasing.
Right.
All of the societal norms that you project out to the world.
Right.
To get approval and all that jazz.
And one's own approval. In other words, a three is often, not always, but often afraid to fail. Right? To not do something really well. Right? If the three's not going to do something really well, they won't do it.
If it's not attractive, they're not going to sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so very often the threes needs to let go of that fear and to be able to fall down and say, oh, I can't do this very well. Okay, I'm going to keep trying though. And on it goes.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of my own journey, where like the past 5 years has been the unlearning and the releasing of the mask. Because before, I was always on social media. I was the LinkedIn queen. I wanted to promote myself.
Did you say the LinkedIn queen?
Yes, I wanted the numbers and showed off, oh, this is my business. Look how well I'm doing. Look at my client. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Right.
Right?
Isn't that what social media is all about?
Right, right. And then I dropped everything. I'm just like, no, it's not serving me anymore.
Yeah. So the question is, what does serve you?
My true authentic self.
Yeah.
You said it with an accent.
Right.
Right, exactly. Exactly. See?
Right.
There it is.
Because I'm multidimensional.
Oh.
Who am I?
That's the big question for a three. And again, threes, like everybody else, it's their question. But the threes especially, I'm convinced. Like the twos especially do this, the ones especially do that. The threes especially take it to such an extent that maybe it's especially hard for them.
It is, because you project, because you know that you have the potential to do great.
Right.
So you project that onto everyone. This is me saying as 3. You project that greatness onto others. Like, if I did really well, I expect you to do really well
Right.
too. And when you, that expectation, which usually fails, you kind of get into a 9 where you're like, it doesn't matter anymore. What's the point?
Right.
Like, who cares?
That's
Yeah.
it.
They failed me.
Yeah.
And, like, they can't meet it because like you hold it so high.
Right?
But yeah, the 6. The past few years was like going to the 6th realm
Mhm.
and just really looking.
Have you explored much of what a 6 is?
No. But remember I said when I took a test for it, I was like a 6?
Right.
And I was like, oh,
Right.
it's just a little too...
So maybe, my understanding is that when a 3 is in her health, she goes to a 6. Right? So to discover what a 6 is, a healthy 6, is really important for a 3.
The loyalist.
Yes.
Loyal to yourself.
Yes, mostly,
Right.
primarily to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to be true to yourself. Good luck.
Oh yes, indeed. Much needed.
Any other thoughts? Someone who's not a 3.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm still, if I'm a 9, I go to a 3, a healthy 3. And I go to a 6 when I'm not.
Mhm.
So all that, the fear and stuff. But I'm not sure which I am anymore.
Try not to think too much about it.
Right,
Feel about it.
yeah,
Let your
yeah.
emotion, your gut, your body tell you more and more what you are and where you need to go.
Yeah, well, that is what I'm doing. I just don't articulate feeling well.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's up to you.
yeah,
All I hear is thought.
yeah.
hear
No,
thoughts.
it's feeling. I'm just using maybe the wrong words or something.
It's up to you. I don't know. Okay, any other thoughts or feelings?
Just another snippet of
Yes,
thinking.
snip away.
Well, the root of it, I think, would be resentment, where it stems from childhood, where you wanted to please your parents or family, and you felt like you were not enough, and you tried to get their attention.
Right.
So, in a way, the success was kind of like, in your face, look how successful I am,
Right.
and look at you. And that's the anger and the resentment part.
Yeah.
And I thrived off that for a little bit,
Sure.
to be honest.
Of course.
So
Makes
that
good
was mine.
sense.
Yeah, it made my ego feel good.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's true, isn't it, for all the types.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, whatever we are, when we're in our ill health,
Yeah.
it's to make our ego feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that feels, by definition, good.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I get upset with people who say, oh, if it feels good, just do it.
Right.
It's a little more complicated than that.
Right.
You know? Yeah. To be able to distinguish between good and truly good.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that's why we speak about discernment of spirits. It's actually a very human thing. Discernment of energies. We call this good, we call that good. Okay, what's the difference? And some people describe it as like, this good is when I get chocolate. Right? I love chocolate. Wow, chocolate's good. This good is watching a beautiful sunset with a friend that you love. That's another quality of good, isn't it? Still like chocolate, but if I had to choose, the deeper good, sunset every time. Maybe I'll sneak some chocolate in later, but you know. Take, yeah, to
Just sit on the beach to watch the sunset in the evening.
Ah, right, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So to be able to distinguish between the different layers of good and the different layers of self is what we're talking about. And one, perhaps the best way to do that is through the energies that come up. It's not so much thinking about it, which is helpful, But the real learning, I believe, comes through energies. And that's not thinking so much. It's just kind of, like when a tidal wave sweeps you away. You're not thinking about it. It's happening. You just feel it. It's deep. It's there. We'll close with a song. Next time we'll have our friend Richard Morris out of 3. So do those chickies ever stop chickens? Stop.
About 9:30.
9:30. When I listen to you, when I hear your voice, I hear the voice of God. When I look in your eyes, when I see your face, I see the face of God. When I open to you, when I touch your heart, we touch the heart of God. We see the face of God. We hear the voice of God. At the close of this day, we give you thanks for your great love for each of us, just as we are. Help us to hear our own voice, to see our own face, to open our own hearts, first and foremost to ourselves, and see within the face of God, the voice of God, the very heart